Hello and welcome back to All the Mods 10. Today we'll be doing some more extreme reactors. And in the previous episode, we've done some stuff, set up some reactors and a reprocessor and a fluidizer. Today we are going to show off what we've done with extreme reactors. And look at that. There's a whole bunch of buildings and structures in the background over there. And it's a little bit complicated. And I'm going to show you what I've done with the stuff so far. So let's get into it. And of course, this is our first reinforced reactor that we've done in a previous episode. And this is the fluidizer. It doesn't need to be this big, but I made this big anyway. So yeah, it's filled with fluids right now. And over here's our little preprocessor thingamajiggy. And here's, well, four more of these guys. And you may notice that we have more fluidizers. We have one, two, three, lost count. One, two, three, four more fluidizers and two more reactors going on in here. So you know things got a little bit crazy. So of course, this is the first time doing extreme reactors, and I didn't go that far when I was filling around with big reactors in the past. But here we are. We've done some extreme reactors, and I had to go and do my research and find out what the details are like with the extreme reactors. Some of the details are still a little bit lacking, but you know I powered through and got what I want. So let's get into it. All right, so this is our first reactor right here, and this is what we built in the previous episode. This one takes uranium ingots, and the waste is a ingot called the cyanide ingot. So we can take that cyanide ingot in order to build the other structure, and I forgot what that is. Cyanide builds the reprocessor, I believe. Let's see, turbine. We can build the turbine with that. Yeah, we can use the cyanide ingots in order to build the reprocessors, and with the fluidizer, we can just use the uranium ingots in order to get that done. So yeah, with the cyanide, you can build other stuff, convert it to a liquid, and we'll see what the use case for that is at a later time. So this is the fluidizer. I am using this in order to fluidize a couple of ingots that you see going here, which I will talk about later. And here is our reprocessor structure, which we are taking cyanide ingots and converting it into plutonium. So that is how you get plutonium. You just input water, cyanide ingots in the reprocessor in order to get the plutonium ingots. And I am using the plutonium ingots inside this particular fluidizer in order to convert it into a liquid. So that's what I've done so far in the previous episode. In the previous episode, we set up this little first reactor. We built the fluidizer, but I don't think we put anything in it. And then for this particular reprocessor, we built the preprocessor. Not quite sure if I remember if we put anything in it, but we got one anyway. And we got four more to play around with. So, of course, in order to get the insanite block, which is, right there, you need insanite ingots, insanite ingots, and an anandite block. In order to get an anandite block, you need the ingots and a netherite block. So this is what we're aiming for, because this is the insanite block that is required for the sub-ingredient for the ATM star. So that should be in here, I believe. No, not that one. This one, here we go. The Philosopher's Fuel is right at the top right there. That's why we need the insanite block. This is the reason why we're going into extreme reactors, is to get this little particular block for the star. But we have to work for it because we have to go through extreme reactors in order to do that. And it's not a straightforward path. It's a maze upon maze of recipes, but it's not so bad. It's not so bad. Of course, I had to write it down, and here we go. Here's the diagram. It's a simplified diagram that I had to write for myself, and then I represented it with this little crappy diagram on the floor. So here we go. Here's our first reactor right there, and I'm representing the reactor with the reactor casing. This is the reprocessor thing. I'm representing that with the casing. And this is the fluidizer. I'm representing that with its casing because I don't want to make extra controllers and waste materials for that. I can, but I'm not going to. So anyway, with the first reactor, we're using uranium ingots, placing it right inside the reactor and outputting the cyanide ingot right there. With that cyanide ingot, we can put that in the reprocessor with some water in order to get plutonium ingots right there. And then once we get the plutonium ingots, we can place that in the fluidizer with the ingot, and then we can output plutonium liquid right there. And let's see, is there any other plutonium liquid? Okay, no other plutonium liquid. So aside from that, we're also going to need to place uranium ingots inside the fluidizer in order to get yellorium liquid. Why do we need the liquid? Because we need to combine the plutonium and the yellorium liquid inside the fluidizer in order to get ruderium right there. And this is green ooze looking bucket liquid right here. And then we can place that inside our third reactor right there. And then we can get rosinite liquid, which is important later. So we're putting ruderium liquid inside another reactor in order to get rosinite liquid. And there is no ingot form for the rosinite liquid. It's just liquid. Don't mind that, just making a little bit correction. Alright, so anyway, with the cyanide ingots that we get from our first reactor, we can place that into a fluidizer in order to get cyanide liquid. So from cyanide liquid, we can place that into the reprocessor in order to get ludicrite ingots. And what can we do with the ludicrite ingots? Well, we can place that into another reprocessor with magentite liquid and get ludicrite. No, this is reticulite ingots. That's it. So you can use the ludicrite ingots with the magentite liquids inside the reprocessor in order to get reticulite ingots. So how do you get magentite liquid? Well, seeing how we can get the plutonium from the reprocessor up here, we can place that inside a reactor and get the magentite ingot as a waste product. So with that magentite ingot, we can place that into a fluidizer, another one, in order to get liquid form. So with the magentite liquid, merging it with the ludicrite ingot inside the reprocessor, we can get reticulite ingots. And of course, it's not over yet. We can take this reticulite ingot, place it into yet another reprocessor with the rosinite liquid that we got from our dirt reactor up here, and combining that, we get an insanite ingots. And with the same rosinite liquid that we got from the reactor up there, we can combine it with benitoite, whatever this is, a crystal that we can get from the nether, and no, you can't make it any other way, merge it together inside another reprocessor in order to get our insanite ingot. So with these two combined, we can finally make this damn block an insanite block. Isn't that insanity? Isn't that complete insanity? So yeah, here's the diagram. Don't know if that's gonna help, but that's what it is. Maybe if I get up closer in landscape form, and then you can just rotate it. Yeah, there we go. All right, so yeah, that's the thing with the extreme reactors. So we have 3 reactors right here. This one is getting us cyanite. This one is getting us, I don't know, what the heck this is getting us? This is liquid plutonium. Yeah, that's plutonium ingot, and that can get us what? Let me just refer back to here. Let's see, reactor. Let's see, plutonium, that's the fluidizer casing. And, here we go. So here's the reactor. And takes plutonium ingots and gets right, magentite ingots. So if you look at the recipe for magentite and you press R on it, it doesn't tell you how to get it. It doesn't tell you how to get it. Obviously, there are the bees. Obviously, there are the mine colonies, but there's no direct way of getting the magentite ingots. So I had to look that up. That's a little detail that I'm a little frustrated about. Is that, well, how the heck do you get magentite? So does the quest tab now tell you? Let me see. Extreme reactors right here. Okay, let's go down here. Ludicrite and reticulite. Plutonium. Let's see, dealing with the waste. Go back to here. And that is from the reactor, yes? Okay. So, fluidizer, our first reactor, I mean, I don't see any keywords that's saying how they get the magentite. I haven't seen it though, so the fluidizer maybe? Maybe this one? I see uranium. Here's uranium right there. How about importing waste? How about this? Cyanide ingots. Yeah, you mentioned cyanide ingots. Waste injectors. How about the reprocessor controller? Okay, nothing there. Power port, output port. Okay. How about this one? Cyanide. Okay. How about building the frame? Do you tell us about that? Okay. How about plutonium? Okay, magenta. Here we go. Once you've built a fully functional reprocessor, you can pump it in power, water, and cyanide to create plutonium. This can be used as a fuel for your reactor and creates its own waste, magentite. All right, so already the quest tab helps, and during my journey with extreme reactors, this thing does help immensely. Not the manual that we have going on here. Look at this. This is the manual right here. So if you go to like the index, it doesn't give you like keywords like rosinite or magentite or anything like that. It's probably like hidden somewhere in one of these categories, and I can find it. So maybe I didn't see it, but well. But the manual didn't help, and I had to rely on the quest tab in order to get me through it. All right. So anyway, going back to here, this is our second reactor, and that takes in plutonium to create magentite ingots. And here's our third reactor, which takes in, what does that take in again? Third reactor, right, berthurium liquid in order to get us rosinite liquid. So again, if you look up rosinite, there is no ingot form for it. And if you press on liquid, it doesn't tell you how to make it. So yeah, that's unfortunate. I don't even know if the quest tab tells you that. Does the quest tab tell you that? When used in the fuel in the reactor, okay, it does tell you that. Great. All right, so anyway, here's our fluidizers. This one creates plutonium liquids. This one creates yellorium. This one creates verdurium liquid. This one creates cyanite. This one creates magentite liquid. And for these particular reprocessors, this one creates plutonium ingots. This one creates, I don't know what this creates, rosinite and reticulite. Okay, let's look that up. Okay, that creates anandite ingots, and it's not running currently, so yeah. All right, so this one, okay, this one takes lutecrine ingots, and it's also not running, okay. Lutecrine ingots is right there, and that merges with magentite liquid in order to create reticulite ingots. All right, so this one is plutonium, and what do you take? Okay, plutonium inside the reprocessor. Let's see, ingots, that's the fluidizer, and that's another fluidizer, and that's a reprocessor. So I think this is it. No, that's cyanite. This is the reactor. Okay. Well, what the heck do you even take? Hold on. Plutonium. Okay. And this one is okay, plutonium ingots. And what do you take? Cyanite. Okay. Let's see, cyanite liquid. That's cyanite liquid. Okay. And that goes in the reprocessor. Oh, I forgot the little ingot right here. I forgot the little ingot right here. I think it's supposed to be with the cyanide ingot. So let me see, lutecrine ingot. Let me just press R on that just to make sure. Okay, yeah. It takes plutonium ingots, cyanide liquids, in order to make lutecrine ingots. So let me just, oh boy. Let me just squeeze that in here. Just place the plutonium ingot right there. Yeah, okay. And of course, now I gotta move everything up. I gotta move everything up. Let me just take this frame. Nope, not that one. There we go. Hey, I'm trying my best, guys. Come on. Come on, guys. Come on. No need to be angry. Jeez. It's a maze upon maze of recipes. Alright, so this is the reprocessor. So let me just move this up. Just move that up. There we go. Let's put that right there. And let me move this up. There we go. And then I'll move the ingot up there. Okay. Alright. And then I think this the cyanide bucket, is it? Let me see. The reprocessor. And that takes the cyanide ingot. Okay. Looking at my notes here. Reprocessor, water. Right. That one takes water. Alright, there we go. Alright, that takes water. And the cyanide ingots. And the reprocessor. And it takes, that outputs the plutonium ingots. Right. Alright, so this particular reprocessor, the one that we're looking at over there, that one takes plutonium ingots, combine it with cyanide liquid inside the reprocessor in order to get lutecrine ingots. So here it is again. There we go. There's the diagram. Hopefully, this is the last time I'm changing it. Hopefully, this is the last time I'm changing it. Imagine doing this with the mechanism stuff. It's going to be like all the way up here. Jeez. Alright. Alright, so anyway, so this last one over here, this takes rosinite, merges it with bentonite in order to get us... Let's see, rosinite, bentonite, insanite ingots. And then this one, I don't know where that one is, rosinite and reticulite. See where that one is. Here it is. This is the one. Rosinite and reticulite ingots in order to get us the anandite ingot. So yeah, so with these two ingots combined, we can finally make the anandite block. And I already did, so, and I placed it up right on the board, right here. Right there, there it is, at the top right. Anandite block. Alright, so let's check out the machines. Which ones are still running? This one's still running. In fact, this one, the first reactor, is what's powering up all these other machines. So that's great, that's perfect. So you right-click that, using all the diamond blocks inside this reactor as a moderator. And yes, you can use the modded blocks if you want to. I didn't know this, but, you know, I found out after I built the damn reactors, you can use the modded blocks, like such as unobtainium, and vibranium, and aldemonium, I believe, and then you can place it down inside the reactor, and it'll be a little bit better. It'll be a little bit better in power generation and cooling, I think. So, but I use diamond, so I don't know that for sure, so you can just go and try it. So let's see, second reactor, is that still going? I don't know if this is still running. I have no idea. Oh, it'll be better if I turn it on. Alright. All right, that's going. All right, that's still going. And this one takes in the verdurium in order to make rosinite. And it's already filled up. All right. And here are the ports for that. With the first reactor, all you need is the solid access port in order to take in uranium. You need a power tap to bring the power out. And then you have another solid access port in order to bring out the waste. And I'm using the modular routers in order to like get that stuff out of there. I'm using it to get the solid ingots out of there. With the liquid stuff, I'm using the 82 pipes, so cables. So are you still on? You're not green though. Okay, you're on. All right, so for the reactor that's taking in plutonium and getting us whatever this stuff is called. Um, let's see. Wait, my little diagram right here. All right, where's the second reactor here? Right. Our second reactor takes in plutonium ingots and outputs regentite ingots. So, of course, that little detail that I haven't been able to find out. Yeah, you can output magentite, but what is it? What form? Is it a reactant? Is it a liquid? Is it a solid? That little detail I didn't find out, so I had to go find out myself somewhere else. So, using the here are the ports for the that particular reactor, and this is the passive forge fluid port that takes in all the coolant water because it requires coolant. And we have another solid access port which takes in the plutonium ingots. We have a power tap. You don't need this, but you know, I'll place it in there anyway, whatever. And let's see, reactor passive forge fluid port, and that takes out the steam and into a fluid trash can. I'm not going to deal with that because I'm not going to build a turbine for it. So another one is the reactor solid access port that brings out the magentite ingots, and that's being pulled out from modular router. So for this particular reactor, our third and final reactor, which makes rosinite liquid, again, we have the passive forge fluid port, which takes in water for the coolant. We have the fluid injection port, which injects verdurium liquid as a fuel. And then we have our fuel injection port, which doesn't make any damn sense to call it an injection port because you're going to wrench it and output the rosinite liquid. Why call it an injection port? That one kind of frustrated me because I couldn't. It took a while for me to figure that out. It took a while for me to figure out how to get the damn rosinite out of there. So, all right. So the other port is what is this? This is the fuel injection port. We already talked about that. Power tap. That's useless. Don't even bother. Passive forge fluid port. And just to take out the steam, just throw it out. You get a ton of steam that you don't know what to do with, and just throw out the steam. All right, so the Fluidizer, also very straightforward. For the plutonium liquids, you get the power port. You need to power the damn thing. You need the solid injector for putting in the plutonium, convert it into plutonium liquid, and taking it out with the Fluidizer output port. With the Yellorium, same thing. With Verdurium, you need to combine two liquids. So you need power tap for bringing in power, Fluidizer fluid injector for the plutonium liquid, another fluid injector for bringing in the Yellorium liquid, and then finally you need an output port, Fluidizer output port to output the Verdurium liquid. So up here, this cyanite, that's the same thing as the other two down there. And then for the magentite, also the same thing as cyanite, which is also the same thing as these two down there. So yeah, that's about it. In order to bring in the stuff, it's a little bit complicated. I should have separated it, but I am using the interface in order to bring all the materials into an interface and importing it into the machines through all these funky spaghetti cables, as you can see right here. And in order to output the liquids and all the ingots and whatnot, but well, mostly the liquids. I'm using this ME ingredient buffer because it can hold liquids inside here. And then I'm going to pump it back into this pink cable, which is the main ME network. And then, of course, from the main ME network, I can just pull it out whenever I need it into any of these machines and be done with that. So yeah, that's about it. That's the extreme reactors. There are a couple of details that I'm a little miffed about, and these details inside the quest tab. This is what you're supposed to do with the quest tab when you're documenting your mods and telling you how things work and how to get to a point. And this one helps me immensely. So is it in the manual like that? No, it's not in the manual. I mean, it's probably is hidden somewhere in these categories, but I wasn't able to find it. It's probably in there somewhere. But you know what? Where's the search function? I don't know where the search function is. It's not even in an index. You know, you want to look up rosinite, it's not on the list at all. I mean, what if you're trying to learn the mod extreme reactors and you're trying to find out what the heck rosinite is? I mean, what are you even supposed to look at? What category? Is it active cooling, passive cooling? Is it a reactant? Who knows? Hey, do you see rosinite in here? I don't see rosinite in here. So, whatever. So, it is what it is. I mean, when you're dealing with a mod, part of playing with modded Minecraft is the research part. So that's an unfortunate thing. So once you learn how the mod works, then you just know. You just know. So in the future, when a mod pack just makes you forces you to make an insanite block for the star, then you just know what to do. So yeah, that's extreme reactors. So a couple of other details that I'm able to tell you. Well, it's probably just one more. And for building the reactor under the fuel rod, don't put glass under the fuel rod because it will not form. Just put the casing under the fuel rod, and then you can use glass for the rest of it if you want to. As long as there's no fuel rod above it, then it will form. So that's one little thing that was a little frustrated about, is that I can't put glass like right under there, even though that I can't even see it anyway. But no, you gotta put casing under your fuel rods. Gotta have that support, So other details that I'm able to remember. Yeah, I think that's about it. Aside from all these machineries over here, I am able to make antinite all day, every day, thanks to all the bees that has an ingot for it. So let's check out the numbers here. Uranium, that's not a problem at all. I have uranium for a while. I have the essences right here. I have the raw uranium right here. So that's totally not a problem. It's being pulled every which way right now. And let's see, cyanite. We have the liquids. Then we have 256k ingots, thanks to our bees. Let's see, plutonium. We have 274,000, 12,000 liquids. Okay. How about ludicrite? 219,000. Okay. How about reticulite? 185,000. Magentite. 178,000. Okay. And let's see, what other ingots? We looked at cyanite, right? Okay, how's our benatoite thingamajiggy going? Because, if you press R on benatoite, you really can't make it. You press R on it, you just can't make it. You gotta mine it through the nether, unfortunately. So that's the only downside about getting more and having it expandable or scalable, or having an infinite supply of one thing. You just can't get enough benatoite, really. Or maybe put the laser drill in the nether. That might work. Yeah? Maybe. I don't know. So, alright, so antinite. We have 165,000, and then endenite. Yeah, 158,000. So yeah, there's a B for every single one of those ingots except benatoite. And, well, benatoite's not an ingot. Yeah, so if I want to make a couple of antinite blocks in the future, I can do that. All for the star. All for the star. So, yeah, that's extreme reactors for you. And I know this is a shorter episode, and I didn't want to spend like 2 to 3 times long trying to fumble my way through the video and having to go through and edit the damn video. And it's probably better this way, that I show you the result, because then it's going to be much more helpful, much more clearer at how I got up to this point. So yeah, so this has been another episode of All the Mods 10. I've been FumbleBlock, and I'll see you next time.